Pure elation coursed through Zane's being as he stared at his discovery.
It's really here. The Deca of Wind! Only 4 days in the Domain Tower, and I stumble upon exactly what I need. Talk about beginner's luck.
He rushed to examine the corpse. Time had taken its toll. All flesh had long since weathered away, leaving behind a skeleton so fragile it seemed a mere touch might reduce it to dust. Only the Deca's power had preserved it this long. This was a level 1 Deca, the most basic form achievable by those who had just broken through to the Martial King level. Unlike the raw power of nature that any cultivator could harness, the Deca represented a fundamental understanding of nature's laws themselves. The distinction was crucial. While natural power could be accumulated and used, only by comprehending the Deca could one truly command these forces. Each level of mastery represented a deeper understanding of these primordial laws. Without wasting a moment, Zane sat before the corpse, his attention fixed on the swirling vortex above it. The process would require complete concentration and understanding.
The Deca might be more complex than regular wind power, but I've already mastered wind's extreme form. This should be manageable.
Over the next 2 days, Zane immersed himself in comprehension. He started by understanding the basic patterns of the wind, then gradually perceiving the deeper principles that governed its movement. Each insight built upon the last, forming a complete understanding of wind's true nature. On the second day, the transformation began. The gentle breeze around him started to change, responding to his growing comprehension. What began as simple air currents evolved into something far more refined and purposeful. Azure light filled Zane's eyes as his black hair whipped wildly in the strengthening wind. The air itself began to take form, condensing into countless invisible blades that circled his body, each one as sharp as any steel sword, yet formed purely from his understanding of wind's cutting nature. The phenomenon intensified with Zane at its center. The scattered wind blades merged and grew, forming a massive tornado that responded directly to his will, not through the application of vital energy, but through pure understanding of wind's fundamental nature.
I've got it. This is it. The true Deca of Wind. The fundamental law of wind itself.
His breakthrough was complete. The air cradled him naturally, allowing him to hover without using any vital energy, a feat that marked true mastery of wind's fundamental nature.
Incredible! So this is the Domain Tower's true power. Comprehending the Deca here is at least 10 times faster than outside. In the outside world, this level of understanding might have taken months. No wonder everyone's so desperate to become a 4 sides dragon envoy. This kind of reward is beyond precious. It's practically priceless.
With the wind Deca mastered, his capabilities transformed. He could now traverse the air with ease, commanding wind currents even without access to his sealed vital energy. The difference between mere wind power and true Deca mastery became starkly apparent. Testing his new abilities, Zane crossed the entire floor in mere minutes, his enhanced vision scanning the desert below. He could now perceive wind currents that had been invisible to him before, using them to guide his search.
Over there!
Another corpse came into view, this one surrounded by a dark yellow energy that pulsed with earthen power. The Deca of Earth manifested differently from wind, its energy dense and grounded rather than fluid and free.
Not what I'm looking for. I need fire and thunder to match my current mastery. Each Deca needs to align with one's fundamental understanding.
3 days and nights passed as Zane methodically scoured every corner of the 5th floor. Despite his enhanced mobility and perception, no other corpses revealed themselves.
Did I use up all my luck on that first find? Or maybe. Either others got here first, or once someone comprehends a Deca, the corpse naturally weathers away. That second theory makes more sense. The essence being fully absorbed would leave nothing behind. If there's nothing left on the 5th floor, time to head up.
Acting on his decision, Zane began a calculated ascent through the tower's levels. He moved purposefully through each floor, evaluating them with his newly enhanced senses. The sixth floor passed beneath his feet, its environment similar but slightly more intense than the fifth. The seventh floor showed similar signs of previous exploration, while the eighth and ninth floors bore clear evidence that others had already harvested their treasures.
These floors are too close to the fifth. Anyone who couldn't find what they wanted below would have already picked these levels clean. I need to go higher, where fewer cultivators dare to venture.
5 days of methodical climbing brought him to the 10th floor. Here too was a desert, but the environment was dramatically different. The winds that had seemed fierce on the 5th floor now appeared gentle in comparison to this floor's raw power. Without warning, the sky underwent a dramatic transformation. Dark clouds began gathering from all directions, not like natural storm clouds, but as if responding to some ancient power. They formed an ominous ceiling above, crackling with contained energy. The lightning that emerged was unlike anything Zane had ever witnessed. Golden bolts as thick as a man's arm crashed down from the clouds, writhing like angry pythons through the storm-dark sky. Each bolt carried enough power to obliterate an ordinary cultivator.
Rain in the desert? No. Something's not right about these clouds. This energy. It's far too concentrated to be natural.
His newly acquired understanding of natural laws told him this was no ordinary phenomenon. Every bolt seemed to pulse with pure Tao essence. Following his instincts, Zane rushed toward the thundercloud's epicenter. There, beneath the roiling storm, he discovered something extraordinary. Another corpse, but one unlike any he'd encountered before. This corpse appeared to defy death itself. While the previous remains had been weathered by time, this one looked perfectly preserved. The figure seemed barely in its 20s, yet its residual aura far surpassed that of any typical Marshall King-level practitioner. The preservation was so perfect that Zane had to verify it was truly a corpse by checking for breath.
This entire thundercloud, it's all Deca of thunder. The sheer scale is unbelievable. The wind Deca was barely fist-sized, but this covers half the sky. The power here is beyond imagination. This must be what a higher level Deca looks like.
Containing his excitement, Zane sat down to begin comprehending this immense thunder Deca, knowing this opportunity far exceeded his earlier wind discovery. The moment he initiated the comprehension process, the thundercloud responded violently. Massive bolts of lightning crashed down, each strike targeting his crown with unerring accuracy. But something unexpected occurred. As each bolt struck, the dark sky thunder within his energy center activated. Instead of causing harm, each lightning strike was absorbed, feeding directly into his cultivation base. The golden tree within him began responding to this sudden influx of power. Its glow intensified with each strike, and the Tao pattern fruits adorning its branches visibly swelled and matured, drawing sustenance from the pure thunder essence.
The dark sky thunder isn't just protecting me. It's transforming this devastating power into pure nourishment. Every strike is enhancing both my understanding and my strength.
As minutes stretched into hours, the process continued unabated. Each lightning strike contributed to his growth, the fruits of his cultivation expanding in both size and power. The domain tower had provided him with not just one treasure, but two, each perfectly aligned with his path of cultivation. A critical moment arrived as one of the fully ripened fruits on the heavenly thunder tree finally reached its peak. The fruit's surface cracked with a sound like breaking crystal, releasing a concentrated stream of pure thunder essence. Zane's mastery over thunder transformed dramatically. His understanding surged past the boundaries of major completion, ascending straight to the extreme realm. The dark thundercloud above continued to shrink, its essence flowing into him like a celestial river of power. Within his energy center, the dark sky thunder flourished. New fruits sprouted along its branches, each one glowing with internal power as they swelled toward maturity. The process created a spectacular light show within his spiritual core. Day after day, the cycle continued. Each strike of lightning brought new growth, new fruits, new power. The cracking of mature fruits became a constant rhythm, each release adding to Zane's mastery. The heavenly thunder tree worked in ways beyond mortal understanding, yet Zane didn't need to comprehend its nature. Its gifts were clear enough. Each fruit absorbed granted him greater mastery over thunder, bypassing the usual need for careful comprehension. Without warning, a sound like an awakening thunder dragon erupted from within Zane's body. The noise reverberated through his very being, marking a fundamental change in his existence. Hundreds of lightning bolts burst from every inch of his skin, creating a display that would have blinded ordinary observers. From a distance, the lightning formed the shape of a massive tree, each thunderbolt becoming a branch in this spectacular formation of pure energy.
The Deca of thunder. Not just grasped, but mastered almost effortlessly. The domain tower's power truly exceeds all expectations.
Instead of resting on this achievement, Zane pressed forward. For 10 full days, he continued absorbing the thunder clouds above, each moment strengthening his connection to thunder's fundamental nature. As the last clouds finally dispersed, the handsome corpse below met its final fate. Without the Deca's preserving power, the body that had maintained its youthful appearance for so long crumbled to dust, scattering on the wind like autumn leaves.
This power, with it, I could strike down a semi-martial king-level expert with a single move. But
a shadow crossed his thoughts as he considered the implications of his growing power.
the divine tribulation cannot be ignored. Mastering both wind and thunder decas means the trial I'll face when breaking through to Martial King level will be beyond devastating. Even seasoned Martial King practitioners would think twice before facing such intense divine punishment.
There's only one way forward. I must master the power of fire to its extreme, then grasp its Deca. The path is clear.
Zane's mind raced through the possibilities as he formulated his plan.
Once I assimilate one of the willpower energy balls in the willpower space, I can combine all three Decas: wind, thunder, and fire. That combination should grant me the power to withstand even 3 divine tribulations. It's ambitious, but necessary.
With his strategy set, Zane entered the Dragon Prison, planning a brief half-day rest before seeking the Fire Deca corpse. But while Zane rested, unaware, his Newland space underwent a dramatic transformation. The verdant frog vines, having reached full maturity, began releasing their offspring. These new creatures marked a significant evolution from their predecessors. Where the original verdant frogs had progressed from milky white to pure black, these new specimens displayed distinctive black horizontal stripes across their white bodies, marking them as something entirely different and potentially more dangerous. Their enhanced nature became immediately apparent as they touched the magic soil. Unlike their ancestors' methodical approach, these creatures possessed an almost manic hunger. The 5 elements divine trees became their primary target. Their ruthless efficiency in consuming these precious trees was terrifying to behold. The Life Divine Tree, in particular, seemed to call to them like a beacon, drawing the majority of the swarm to its branches. Their saw-like teeth, evolved for maximum consumption, tore through bark and wood with frightening ease. Only the Death Divine Tree stood immune to their assault, protected by some innate quality that made the creatures avoid even its shadow. Hour by hour, their numbers grew. What began as hundreds soon became thousands, until more than 10,000 insects swarmed through the space like a living tide. It was at this critical moment that a disturbance rippled through the void. A familiar presence was attempting to breach the Newland space's defenses once again.
This time it has to work.
Jacob Costa, still haunted by his previous encounter with the mysterious wraith from the Ghost Manor, remained determined to claim the space for himself. Yet his movements betrayed his lingering fear. After a careful survey of the surroundings, Jacob withdrew to let his brother enter first, an extra precaution born of their previous failure.
Neither Zane nor that mysterious man are here. The coast is clear, Jacob. Come on in.
Are you absolutely sure about that mysterious man after what happened last time?
His voice trailed off, the trauma of their previous encounter evident. While Zane posed little threat with William present, the mysterious figure who had even his powerful brother concerned was another matter entirely.
He's not here. Now let's find what we came for before someone returns.
Just let me secure my 5 elements divine trees first. Then we can search together.
Fine, but make it quick. We don't know how long this window of opportunity will last.
As Jacob flew up to hover above the tree canopy, the true extent of the devastation below froze him in place.
Zane, you despicable bastard! My precious 5 elements divine trees! You've turned them into feed for insects!
The destruction was complete. One massive divine tree stood riddled with holes large enough to pass a human head through, its majestic form barely recognizable. Others had been stripped completely bare, their spiritual light and leaves devoured, leaving nothing but polished stems. The worst cases were reduced to mere stumps, their roots consumed entirely by the voracious swarm. But most shocking was the Life Divine tree, or rather, where it had stood. The entire tree had disappeared beneath a living carpet of verdant frogs, packed so densely they moved as a single organism. At that moment, the verdant frogs detected the intruders. Zane's final command resonated through their collective consciousness like a death sentence.
Kill any unauthorized intruders in this space, whoever they are, without any exception.
The swarm shifted as one entity, their enhanced forms promising capabilities far beyond their previous incarnation. Jacob and William were about to discover exactly why Zane had chosen these particular creatures as his space's guardians, and why their evolution made them more lethal than ever before.